Thank you very much, Professor Arosha, for inviting me. I think nice to see Professor Pavithra Kailasapathy, one of our lecturer also here. And again, I should thanks Professor Arosha Adhikaram because I completed this, say, like 7-8 years back, my PhD study and all. Then again, I revisit certain aspects aligned with the social exchange and everything. There are certain areas where we need to explore more. So that also, like, because anyway, we have to have a kind of preparations. So it actually motivates me to go for more academic work, not for this administration and all. So thanks for that particular motivation for inviting us. I think I always like to remember Professor J.S.K. Jayakodi. So he was my supervisor for my master's in the Columbia University Management, where I got 3 gold medals in dissertation subject. So that particular discussions we had with the dissertation, with the social exchange and all, because he's the one actually like always communicating us. Okay, Nalin, if it is a case of this, you need to have this sort of a like different arguments, the critical, because we are talking about in the Bloom's taxonomy, this high order thinking, synthesizing and all, that is really important. So with that particular note, I will start the discussion. First, I think I will just share my small 5 to 10 minutes time I will take to share my PhD work. The problem actually, my research problem for better customer oriented salesperson, where can transformation leadership make a difference for salesperson for better customer relationship? Because most of the time, the transformation leadership actually we measure by using the manager or leader. But here in my study, in my PhD study, I actually observed the transformational leadership orientation of a salesperson, not the leader. So yeah, in one managerial implication, we suggested, where if you are going to recruit a salesperson for your office, so you need to always understand the leadership capabilities of the salesperson as well. Why I am telling you, because this is actually the research puzzle. Yeah, we are talking about the transformation leadership. In one hand, I actually consider this as a multidisciplinary study. The leadership coming from management and organizational behavior, then marketing discipline, we link into a kind of a one particular basket. So, right? So that is something, yeah, like really important and interesting. And more importantly, I measured this the transformation leadership and relationship marketing with this customer-oriented salesperson by looking at the banking sector, corporate banking sector in Sri Lanka, where, as we know, the banking sector in the, if you really talking about the gross domestic product in the country, the services is paramount important, where the banking sector we always engage. So in that scenario, the role of the salesperson actually we taken, and by looking at the resource-based view in strategic management, so the dynamic capability comes under RBV. We consider as one of the particular strategic management perspective model going to be take for the measurements and all. So this is the kind of a puzzle where we actually we had a question. Now transformation leadership has been highly engaged with the managers. But the relationship marketing, on the other hand, is really important for organization to achieve the sustainable competitive advantage. But banking sector, they say, even though we have this relationship market orientation, it has been not properly articulated. So in order to articulate the relationship marketing concept, then we actually take this transformational leadership concept with the customer orientation also. Then most of the time we need to always give whatever the regards for Bernard Bass. The transformation leadership started with Burns 1978, but Bernard Bass, with his seminal papers, he actually with the transformational leadership and all, in one of the article he suggested with transformational leadership selling will be more effective when salesperson are both emotional and intellectually appealing. So he's the one actually, also Bernard Bass is the one actually suggested the transformational leadership orientation of the salesperson, where he argued in one nice explanation, because if I am the leader, I need to influence my follower. Even in the sales field also, if I am the salesperson, I need to influence my customer. So this influence factor is really important. So that of course is one of the very important aspect we need to take into consideration. Align with the social exchange theory we are going to discuss. So we could not always like ignore this work by Morgan and Hunt. He discussed about, he defined relationship marketing by using trust and commitment. So trust and commitment is really important for relationship marketing, because where if I want to sell my product, or even in the services sector, because not like products, services, you can't see the product, you can't separate the product. We are talking about different attributes for the services. That's why we need to have extended marketing mix, product, price, place, promotion with process, physical evidence, and people. Because of this differentiation in the services sector, the trust and commitment is really valid for relationship marketing to bring the business. So not only this trust and commitment is valid to bring the particular business. So we are talking about in relationship marketing, it's a kind of a marriage. So you need to have a long-term relationship with the customer. So where this trust and commitment been extensively discussed in the literature. I think I just put forward few literature, but we understand this if I go to a bank, insurance or whatever the place, I always believe the salesperson or the customer relationship officer. So once I trust the person, then only I will committed to buy that particular product. So yeah, in the literature, they say the trust can be considered as an antecedent for the commitment as well. So this is really important. Then the same trust and commitment, we need to discuss align with the transformation leadership also. I think here they say the transformation leadership involves developing a closer relationship between leader and subordinates. The relationship development are based on the trust and commitment rather than on contractual agreement. So rather than going for these contractual agreements, the trust and commitment is really important. So that is really one of the important things we discuss now. One of the good example. So now in the Open University, my subordinates, as a dean of the faculty, they should trust me. They will committed to work on behalf of me. If I'm only looking at the KPIs, all these outcomes, I don't think you will get the trust among the subordinates. So this trust again is important, and the commitment you need to get now. In the LTTO, we discuss about the Velupilli Prabhakaran be trusted by the suicide carders, then only they committed suicide. So the leadership, I'm talking about this particular factor of the leadership, this trust and commitment is important. So then what we need to understand, the leadership is coming from management. Then again, the relationship marketing is from the particular marketing perspective. So we bring them into one particular basket by using trust and commitment. So there is a kind of alignment between trust and commitment with social exchange that of course I will discuss. So because of that, so we need to understand certain algorithms, even the theory. So we are talking about the theory. So what is theory? Now in the Greek, they say theory is something like sight, spectacle viewing, or looking at. Now I think in the PhD studies, most of the people, they are very concerned about scholars and all different theories. But yesterday for one of the paper, I got a review. If one scholar more than 3 theories, there's a problem of theoretical parsimony, where like the contradictions will, because we have to, anyway, we need to have 2 to 3 theories to be incorporated. But the reviewer actually sent me one particular comment. Nalin, if you're going to use many theories, number one, there can be a conflict in between the theories. Number two, the person going to read, the readers will get confused. Because of that, he asked theoretical parsimony. More than 2 theories, if you're going to use, you have to make sure there is no conflict in between the theories. So that also we need to take into consideration. So this is a kind of a theoretical stuff, the definition of theories and idea to explain something, no set of guiding principles. Now in the Albert Einstein case, we are talking about the relativity. It's an example of the theory of relativity. Then again, the scientific principle of evolution used to explain human life. So that is all about the science in management, in our perspective. There are many theories we use. So there are some famous theories: institutional theory, theory of stakeholder. Then again, today we are going to have a kind of a discussion on the social exchange theory. I think last session I already watched the video and all with Professor Pavithra Kailasapathy. She has nicely explained the theory with different perspective. So then again, this actually we are using to formulate, to explain, predict, and understand phenomena, and in many cases to challenge and extend existing knowledge within the limit of critical boundary assumptions, whatever the theory. So we need to have certain assumptions. And even with the theory, we're talking about the extension of the theory. That part also I will cover. Then what about the social exchange theory? So this is the focal point today we are going to have. So we discussed about the social exchange in 1958, where one of the American sociologists, Homers, he published one article titled Social Behavior as Exchange. So what we need to understand, the social exchange theory is a combination of the behaviorism and the basic economics. Then again, people might ask why we use certain aspects of the socialism, maybe behaviorism and basic economics into the different disciplines. That is the flavor of sort of a multidisciplinary subjects in the life. So we need to explain this maybe with the spirituality, maybe with different dimensions. Then only we will get the multiple reality. So that is really important. And also in some articles, they like to link this social exchange with just the basic economics and operant conditioning. So that also we like to take into consideration, not just like behaviorism is a kind of a broader concept. Yeah. So they like to use only the operant conditioning like reward and punishment. Whatever the time we read the articles on social exchange, so they are talking about risk and return. Risk and return. So risk and return is something maybe we discuss about the spirituality and all, where they are talking about beyond to this risk and return. But here in the social exchange, this only condensed into this particular transaction. I think in Bhagavad Gita, the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, they discuss about something called cleansing the heart, right? Cleansing the heart. But that is something beyond to the social exchange. So I am telling you like that because what we need to understand, there are certain assumptions of social exchange theory. So some core assumptions regarding human nature. The number one assumption, they say human tend to seek out reward and avoid punishments. Now this discussion, I think Rosha, I think 1 month back only she invited me. Then again, this is a kind of a thing where it's beyond to the whatever the things we are going to discuss under social exchange theory. Nothing to do with these rewards, nothing to do with the punishments. Now again, this whatever the time we have the Zoom session, even our Open University management also say we invited many, but there are many commitments. But then again, we need to understand whether it is a kind of a transaction or more than the transaction. So if we say our increment form in the with the lecturers, we say if you are not, we invited 20 KPI, we invited 20 sessions, the lecturers are only coming for 5 sessions, then there will be a punishment. Then again, we can see the trade union action. So these are the things we need to, people are talking about the democracy and all, but we need to take that into consideration in a different forum maybe, right? Again, we can talking about the second assumption that a person begins an interaction to gain maximum profit with minimum cost. So what we need to understand here, this is like kind of a symbolic interaction. People think like profit is the financial profit. So with the opportunity cost and all, we are talking about something beyond to that. And the individual is driven by what's in it for me. So what sort of things I am getting? So if I just think I get the recognition and I accept this, I don't think I can have a good work, even this presentation. So especially if I think like, okay, the Columbia University management faculty, they have given many things. So because I study here and all, and then Professor Jayakodi, then all lecturers. So that is a mindset we need to inculcate beyond to the social exchange theory, right? A third assumption is that individuals tend to calculate the profit and cost before engaging. So whatever the time I can see now in our new like recruited lecturers, not everybody, like only 5%. So we asked them to make the whatever the contribution for different conferences. Then number one, they ask for certificate. So can I have the certificate? Right? So then if I promise them a certificate only, there are certain people, but in their lecturer presentation, they say something beyond to the social exchange theory. But unfortunately, once we recruited, say like certain commitments, they are looking at this, like this third one, the third assumption, to calculate the profit and cost before engaging. I like the way they request that. So, but we need to have a certain considerations, because as we know, we always like to understand the value of the free education in Sri Lanka, and we need to always respect to Dr. C.W.W. Kannangara. So that part also we need to take into consideration. Finally, the theory assumes that people know that this payoff will vary from person to person. That's correct. Depends on the person to person, and also as well as the same person over time. So these are the assumptions in social exchange theory, and the cost versus benefit. Right? The relationships are there, no? Cost in all things that you see as negatives, such as having to put money, time, effort into a relationship. So they are talking about the relationship, because the social exchange theory extensively discussed in certain other like disciplines, maybe making romance and all. So I would like to propose you, not only you need to read something on the management with the social exchange theory. Unfortunately, we always observe, even PhD work also, we always like to align this into one particular like aspect, but we need to go think beyond to that, right? Then the benefit, the things that you get out the relationship, such as fun, friendship, so all the things, social support and all. So what we need to understand in management discipline also, we need to have a holistic thinking by looking at this cost versus benefit, right? So it actually play a major role in the social exchange process, right? Then again, for example, there is one example: if your partner, romantic partner, showered you with displays of affection, your comparison level of your next relationship is going to be quite high when it comes to affection. If next romantic partner tend to be more reserved and less emotional, that person might not measure up to your expectation. So these things are really important. So what we need to understand, the bottom line of the social exchange, the people weigh the potential benefit and risks of their social relationships. When the risks outweigh the reward, they will terminate or abandon. They will abandon the relationship. Most relationships are made up of a certain amount of give and take, but this does not mean that they are always equal. That varied. So with that particular start, even we can have a small discussion, Professor Arosha, then I can proceed. If need, can have a small like kind of a reflection what we discuss, or else I will proceed. No, what is the best, Professor Arosha?
Anything is okay. If there is any
questions? No, any questions? Yes. So we can have a kind of a discussion, then we can proceed towards. Right. If not, then we will
proceed, and then maybe at the end,
no worries. No problem. No problem. So then this is the way like we discuss about this. I just like to mention this: when the risk outweigh the reward, they will terminate to abandon the relationship. So even in our scenario, I discuss about this relationship marketing and the transformational leadership. In the relationship marketing, we are talking about you need to have a long-term sustainable relationship with the customer. So there should be a bond between you and the follower. That's why we discuss about something called relationship marketing is more than transactional marketing, because transaction marketing is short term, relationship marketing is long term. There should be a mutually beneficial relationship between you and your customer. So that is the main idea in relationship marketing. Then again, even the transformational leadership, the relationship between I myself as a leader with a follower. But anyway, whatever the time, the risk overweigh the reward, they will terminate to abandon the relationship. That is the main premise here. We need to stand align with the particular social exchange theory. Then again, what we need to understand, the beauty of the social exchange theory, we need to align with the different discussions, different combinations, I would say, because what we need to identify by looking at my particular study and how I align social exchange. So we will see, like, because I clearly mentioned, I want to measure the transformational orientation, transformational leadership orientation of a salesperson. Now, most of the time, people like to measure the transformational leadership orientation among the particular managers. So again, I would say in the transformation leadership, the Bayes and Avalio's famous 4 factors we actually took into consideration, that is idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual consideration. So these 4 factors actually we use to operationalize the transformational leadership. That is one of the famous instruments we discussed with the multi-factor leadership questionnaire. Actually, that is developed by Means Garden. So that is something where we need to understand with quantitative nature. Again, we need to identify this operationalization and all. Then again, relationship marketing actually I define by using the famous trust and commitment by Morgan and Hunt. I can remember in the time of the research, Professor Jayakudi asked me, Nalin, for the master's, right? Because in my PhD also, I extended the version of my master's study with more philosophical underpinning. Nalin, now we need to, Professor Jayakudi asked me a question, Nalin, now we need to find the constructs of the relationship marketing, because trust and commitment being defined by using different constructs. Then I can remember I searched the email address of 2 authors, the Morgan and Hunt, these 2 authors. And I just say, greetings from Sri Lanka. I am Nalin Abeysekera, reading for my master's in Columbia University. You know, within 2 days' time, a message from the second author, Hunt. Dear Nalin, here you go. All the constructs of trust and commitment, even some related articles. So that we called as beyond to the social exchange theory, right? Beyond to whatever this reward and the return and risk we are talking about in social exchange theory. So because these reflections are really important. So one of the PhD study in the education field, I observed the entire reflections by using the scopes, learning cycle and all, that the scholar, the entire reflection of the study, he condensed into his second PhD. All the reflections with the phenomenological methodology and all, that also we considered as the part and parcel of the journey of the research. Then it comes from my extracted directly from my PhD work. So where I explain, now I have to always limit the study into the scope of the management discipline and align with the leadership and relationship marketing, where first I define this Holmes' own words of the social exchange with this exchange of goods, material goods, but again non-material ones like symbolic exchange, and persons that might give to others try to get much from them, and persons that might much from others are under pressure to give much to them. That is the basic idea. Then align with that. So yeah, I say the one of the important thing that social exchange So exchange of social and material resources is a fundamental form of human interaction and one of the most influential conceptual paradigm in organization behavior as well as for streams such as marketing, general management. So in my scenario, I use this social exchange theory to bring the relationship marketing and transformation leadership into one particular discussion forum. And more importantly, the social exchange theory actually discuss about individual to engage in reciprocal behavior and support those who provide benefits. That I discussed, and here I think I highlighted certain points. We can see the theory of social exchange can be linked to the conceptual of transformation leadership as well. And again, I want to quote Bernard Bass, Professor Bass' opinion is that transformation leadership is based on social exchange. And also one article, it say, when you go to 2008, social exchange that explain why subordinates became obligated to their supervisors and contribute in way to transcendent requirement to their whole employment contracts. And also there are many other supporting evidences for the transformational leadership and the social exchange. So, and also, then again, I think I discussed about the transactional marketing and the relationship marketing. So there's a kind of a paradigm shift from transactional marketing to relationship marketing. Transactional marketing only discuss about short-term relationships. Transactional marketing only concerned about just a relationship between the particular salesperson and the customer. Like the same, we are talking about the paradigm shift from transactional leadership to transformational leadership. Now we can see certain alignments are emerging. We can align transformational leadership and relationship marketing by using trust and commitment. And also these paradigm shifts. And in this particular discussion, I'm talking about social exchange. So that's why here we are talking about transactional leadership on the country is a preliminary based on the economic exchange. That also we need to take into consideration. So here the relationship marketing, in that particular scenario also we use the social exchange theory, where the literature it mentioned, more importantly, we need to always concern about the literature. This, one of the literature, Shore et al. Suggested 4 major features that distinguish social and economic exchanges: the level of trust, investment, duration, and emphasis of relationship. The social exchange relationship entail a high level of trust, provide extensive investment in the employees, focuses on a long-term relationship, and emphasizes the social emotional aspect of the relationship. And again, the famous article Morgan and Hunt in 1994, they suggested a theory of social exchange as the base for explanation of relationship marketing. And there are many other supporting arguments. So this is something where we need to understand. And also, the concept of trust and relationship commitment can be explained by using the concept of social exchange. That's why first I thanks for Professor Arosha, because this is one of the area where we have done extensive study 9 years back, but this is something where we can come up with a very important piece, maybe publication and all for coming months, because trust and commitment also can be explained. That is obvious, no? Always, like we are talking about these 2 concepts of trust and commitment, even the trust can be considered as an antecedent for the commitment. Yeah, that also can be explained with the social exchange. So where I depicted this, the initiative of the theory, it was developed to understand the social behavior of human in economic undertaking. Right? Responding to various market characteristics, social exchange theory actually views the exchange relationship between specific actors as contingent and rewarding reaction from others. And also a core of the theory is still best confined onwards. I think this actually already I discussed. Social behavior is not only an exchange of goods, material goods, but also non-material ones, such as symbols of approval or prestige. Persons that give much to others try to get much from them, and persons that get much from others are under pressure. I think I reiterate that. That is really important. So with that, so where the social exchange theory, the value received from the exchange relationship determine a person's attitude and behavior towards the relationship. So I align that into the relationship marketing, and also the same thing with the transformational leadership also. So here you can see finally, hence it clear that those concepts of transformational leadership and relationship marketing have emerged from the social exchange theory. So this is something where we link by using the social exchange theory as clearly visible. Social exchange is always deals with the particular way we are going to elaborate with number one, what is the risk? Then we are talking about the return. Then with the return and all, we are very concerned about the reward and the punishment. So that is the basic idea. Even the work of other like main seminal papers like Bernard Bass, Professor Kotler and Armstrong, then more importantly, this very 2000, relationship marketing relies preliminary on social bonds, which involve regular communication and customer and service continuity through a personal service representative. Sometimes in the leasing and all, we can observe, if you are working in the business, maybe leasing, so you are leaving from your company, maybe from X company, with your clientele. So we are talking about the corporate image, public relation and all in marketing, but whatever the public image of the organization is not necessarily important. If you have a good clientele, they are your kind of a followers. So that is the beauty of the relationship marketing. So that is one of the reasons where the very 2000 suggested the relationship market relies primarily on the social bonds. So that is obvious now in the banking sector. Whatever the time we are talking with the banking manager, they say every month we have 6 to 7 invitations for wedding. The social bond, social relationship marketing. Not only we are looking at the transactional marketing in the services sector, that is really important. I think the continuation here, additionally in a social relationship, customer may be more understanding when a service failure occurs, and customer may always more likely to allow the salesperson or store to respond to competitive offering. What we need to understand in relationship marketing, sometimes we define to convert the suspect into prospect into partner into long-term commitment towards your product. So in that scenario, sometimes in the literature they say, if you have a good relationship with the customer, the small mistakes, insignificant mistakes, customer tend to forget. That also we need to take into consideration. Then I think with the help of these dimensions, like social exchange has been extensively discussed in the transformation leadership and relationship marketing. That is obvious. That has been established. Then again, fortunately, we got certain different dimensions. Trust and commitment. Yes, relationship marketing defined by using trust and commitment. The same we can see with the transformation leadership. Now, social exchange, trust and commitment. Thirdly, transactional marketing to relationship marketing, paradigm shift. Transactional leadership to transformation leadership, paradigm shift. Because of that particular alignments, so this is a paper in this Chicago International Journal of Trade and Global Markets. We have published one concept paper, not an empirical paper, concept paper aligning transformation leadership and relationship marketing into 3 different perspectives: social exchange, trust and commitment, and the paradigm shift. So actually in my PhD study, I got 2 supervisors, one Professor Sudatta Ranasinghe, our Sevandis father-in-law, and Anand Vikramsinghe currently is serving in the Sydney Business School. So this is actually published with Dr. Anand Vikramsinghe. So 10 years back. So 10 years back. Now we are in 2022. So this can be considered as outcome of my PhD study. So again, so how I align this transformation leadership, relationship marketing, and customer orientation into the main forum of the discussion. Then again, I would like to say extension to theory. All the time, now in the PhD, whatever the sessions being given, we always like to discuss about the extension to theory. But for a theoretical extension and all, the theory extension to theory, you can't just say Maslow's study physiological, then again security, safety, esteem, self-actualization. I can't propose just one extension to theory with a different alignment, but you need to have a good theoretical understanding. So theory extension involves extending a theory or the assumption underlying a theory so that it includes elements identified by other authors. So in that extension of theory, there is one particular article I like to propose to read. Business to business social exchange relationships beyond trust and commitment. I think I mentioned trust and commitment like in the previous discussion as well. In this particular article on International Journal of Hospitality Management, they want to have a kind of a different argument. I would like to propose you to read this article because why? A proposed model of social exchange theory and extension being given. So the relationship satisfaction as a mediator. So this article will give you a kind of idea about this, the extension of a theory in a different perspective. That is something where we need to discuss. And also, I would like to relate this social exchange into maybe certain religions or maybe to the spirituality and all. So there are certain potential areas for us to explore more. Even in Sri Lankan context also, I have seen certain arguments are there. But I like to propose this one of the article being published in the Rationality and the Society, because the previous article also I mentioned is one of the good journal, the International Journal of Hospitality Management. So this one actually discuss about the divine exchanges, applying social exchange theory to religious behavior. Where in that article, the abstract, they mention in the abstract, where social exchange theory offers several mechanisms by which uncertainty may be reduced or mitigated, such as through trust, repeated exchanges, reputation, information, the exchange of others and institution. This paper applies principles from social exchange theory to religious behavior and argue that the same mechanism that reduce uncertainty in social exchange also reduce uncertainty in the religious exchanges, resulting in high level of religious commitment. So this we can align with. So these days in social media, we can see the Yeheli Sangakara. And people like to elaborate that in a different perspective, so that we can link here what they say. Principles of social exchange theory to religious behavior and argue that the same mechanism that reduce uncertainty in the social exchange also reduce uncertainty in the religious exchange, results in high level of religious commitment. So this particular paper proposed that having experience believed to be supernatural, having close ties to others within one's religious consideration and believing affiliated to higher attention, church should increase religious commitment through decreasing uncertainty. But personally, I believe whatever the religious acceptance, we need to respect. That is the theme. So we are talking about this 3-dimensional world. We are talking about 4D, 5D, but that is only we can see from our eyes. There can be certain things beyond to that. And also whatever the opinion of others may be, Elinana Sangakara, we respect. Right? That respect factor is very much relevant, not only for Elinana Sangakara, even The Kalaniya temple, we can see there are certain controversial things some people argue, but we need to respect for that. That is their particular beliefs. As a democratic country, we have to have respect by understanding how we are going to discuss this social exchange theory into different perspectives, right? And fortunately, in that article, by reading the article, I could able to find this one called the religious economics theory. Considers a religion as comprised of pursued exchange between individual and a god of gods, where individual exchange their religious commitment, abiding by the behavioral dictates of a religion. So I always enjoy writing certain articles for some newspapers, not like certain publications. I always think like to socialize the knowledge, we need to understand the particular rhythm of thinking of the general public, not only for daily FT, I write for single newspapers also, because we need to socialize knowledge. So in that scenario, this is another very good article where I would like to align this into this certain incidents, because they say the religious commitment abiding by the behavioral dictate of a religion in hopes of receiving religious goods, especially other goods, right? And verifiable goods believed to be received in an afterlife context, such as heaven. Consequently, the fundamental and universal problem for religious individuals. So what I just want to tell, so why I propose these sort of articles for you to go through in your PhD journey, maybe you are doing your higher studies, you have to live with the subject. You have to believe the subject. You have to consider your subject as sacred. Unless, say like in strategic management, now I teach the subject of strategic management where most of the students, they heard Michael Porter. Then I asked, why you heard Michael Porter? They say, because of Professor Porter, you have to study Porter's diamond model, Porter's 5 forces, then the value chain of Michael Porter, Porter's generic strategy. Then always I communicate to the students, try to read the autobiography of Michael Porter. Then try to read this, whatever the achievements. Consider Michael Porter as sacred. If you will start to read the models, then it will easily absorb to you, right? Something related to this religious economics theory, okay? But nothing to be mentioned if you're going for a different purpose of your life, maybe aligned with the spirituality that is not aligned with this aspect, right? Then again, beyond social exchange theory and integrative look at the transcend mental models for engagement. So today in the morning only I could able to get this article. So that also talking about a different perspective. I propose you to go through this one also. They are talking about the different mental models used by individual. So can be maybe static over time, but they are thought to be more dynamic over relatively longer time frame in adaptive response to changing conditions. So movement between these mental models can be triggered by changing the cognition as well as the event that arose effect. So it is kind of a thing where we need to discuss the social exchange theory itself coming from behaviorism and economics theory, but maybe something beyond to that we need to take into consideration. And the social exchange theory and cause and effect, I just want to share this also with you. So by going to this article in my PhD study, where in one place, so this is my PhD work, I could able to get, because with the quantitative research, I have done certain qualitative interviews and all, where in 2004, the Chakraborty and Chakraborty in their article, they discuss about one of the very important thing called the Yata Raja Tata Prashna, like leader, like follower, right? So by looking at by getting the whatever the literature support, I actually propose a small kind of a model. Hetupalawadi, cause and effect. So this already established, leader, follower. Then again, in addition to that, I say manager, salesperson, customer, Yata Raja, cause, Tata Prashna, effect. So this might be one of the thing I start to think about, where one of the aspect where maybe we can align with the social exchange theory. Social exchange theory is talking about, again, cause and effect, no? Trust and commitment also same, but kind of a different argument where we can incorporate maybe for the future, whatever the discussions as well. So that also we need to take into consideration. And even by looking at the entire theory and looking at the different dimensions of the theory, I think I discussed about the article where, like, actually I'm looking at for future publication. And then again, I will share the next slide. Some byproducts, because last week throughout, there can be a kind of a preparation, no? So you need to enjoy with the subjects. Also, you need to get the knowledge, not only from the management discipline. There is one very interesting article I could able to find, the social exchange theory applied to romantic relationships. So here they say, more importantly, the female sports celebrities, for instance, do not frequently engage in relationship with their male fans, stating that the difference in status is too great, while male sports celebrities are flat about their numerous encounters with female fans. Right? And also there are certain other articles. Examine social exchange measure as moderator of politeness techniques in face threatening acts between romantic partners. So these, whatever the things you get to hands on in social exchange, once you get used to this, you may be coming up with a different version of the argument, right? And in the final particular point I just want to discuss, there is one interesting article I could able to find. Role of theory in this is nothing directly related to the social exchange theory. The role of theory in the business management PhD, how students may use theory to make an original contribution to knowledge. So this is one of the article where I extracted from the University of Plymouth, where you can see the most like used articles by the PhD students. Critical theory, agency theory, organization theory, behavioral decision theory, resource-based view. I think in my PhD also I use this dynamic capability theory, generic economics theory, institutional theory, social construction, interpretative theory, stakeholder theory. This has been extensively used by people. In one of my PhD student, Nuresh Randa, in his PhD, he completed the PhD 5 years back. Now he's a lecturer attached to Peradeniya University. He also used this stakeholder theory. So he discussed about the CSR into strategy. CSR into strategy. So these are the theories. So theories, here this table mentioned theories that may be suitable for teaching to all business management PhD students. Not only this is important for the PhD students, they recommend, recognize the theory, read widely in your field, read about theory in research methodology books, and also, more importantly, that article they recommend is for educators like us. Encourage students to read widely in their field. That's why I really appreciate this initiative by Professor Arosha Adhikaram. Because the department, this specific department itself, what to do is really relevant in terms of PhD students and in terms of educators. Encourage students to read widely in their field, particularly the top tier journals. Encourage students to read about the theory and methodology books. Give students tasks, maybe write a literature review and all. Have a regular face-to-face meeting with the student. Provide detailed feedback on draft work given by the students. So the purpose of having this sort of workshops, purpose of even engaging with this sort of workshops, always very much beneficial, not only for the students, for the educators, and for the business schools. So, students, educators, and schools, don't leave it to the student to independently learn about theory. Most of the time, supervisors request them, but we have to engage them, inspire them, right? That's why we always respect Professor J.S.K. Jayakodi, Professor Sudatta Ranasinghe, Dr. Anand Wickramasinghe, and all other, even Professor Pavithra Kailasapathy. We have our Dean of the Faculty in Management, Colombo. So all So they are like always motivate. Ensure that applicants to PhD program have completed a master degree with a research training and independent, like recruit, appoint academic staff that have demonstrated the ability to publish top digest. This is for the business schools. So what we need to understand, so I think I discuss certain things aligned with the particular aspects of the social exchange. So as clearly mentioned, by looking at maybe social exchange theory, maybe people might think like social exchange theory, a kind of economic theory where we are always concerned about the outcome equal to reward minus cost, right? Because that actually form a relationship with the rewarding and reward minus the cost equal to the outcome. But what we need to understand, not only reward and the cost, beyond to that we need to study in the particular, you know, like engagement, maybe with the student, maybe with the educator and all. So that is the basic communication and discussion I have at the moment. Now I think Professor Arosha, we can start the particular discussion, interaction as well. Thank you for your, again, for your whatever the invitation, Professor Arosha.
Thank you. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. I know you are very busy with your administrative duties.
Unfortunately, yes, unfortunately.
And I'm very happy that you also explained together with social exchange theory the need for research students to engage in more reading, literature, and you also showed us some of the most commonly used theories and all of that, because we have quite a number of PhD, BBS students here today in the audience. And also the fact that you nicely explained how social exchange theory was used in your study and the rationalization that you presented for the selection of social exchange theory and the use of the theory in your study. It's very important. I hope the researchers and the research students noticed how that rationalization, how you build that rationalization, because in their studies too, they would have to engage in such a rationalization for the selection of their theory. So thank you for that. Maybe I can start with asking you a question, and maybe it's open for discussion for others as well. So social exchange theory is mainly used in positivistic studies, Prof Nalin. Did you come across studies that have used social exchange theory in a non-positivistic or social constructionist studies, maybe?
Yeah, yes, I think there are certain studies like examine social exchange measures as moderator of politeness, techniques as face straightening act. Actually, that study also kind of a combination. What to mention is correct. This most of the time it has been only used in the one particular like positivist kind of a study. But there are certain articles where I could able to find one. I think I just give me 1 minute. This the beyond social exchange theory. Again, I integrated looking at the transient mental models for engagement. That is a concept paper. So some concept papers can be seen, but again, what you mentioned, because maybe in the premise that this is already coming from the economic theory and all, because of that, they always talking that in line with the positivist approach. But once you, that's why Professor Arosha, I mentioned, the students, they need to always have a kind of a thirst for reading. Once you go through the, whatever the time people like to read, social exchange plus management. But I always like to propose social exchange plus romance. Maybe you will get a kind of a very nice idea where you can even like propose for your boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, this is beyond to the social exchange, something like that. So you need to always enjoy with reading. Then only you will get a maximum, I guess.
Any other questions from the audience? Pavithra, miss, anything you want to add to the discussion?
No, I would just like to know, Nalin, did the reviewers send you any recommended reading for parsimony in theory? you mentioned in the beginning about using too many theories and having parsimony. Did they give it? Because while you were talking, I was trying to check Googling to see if I can find anything on that, and I couldn't find. So I just want to know if there are any references.
Yes, madam. What I can do, I will go through that again. If any suggestions made, I will make that available. So that was the problem even for me, madam. Now, usually we use many theories now, but again, that can be considered as another very important suggestion. They say if you use two theories, maybe social exchange with the institutional theory, there can be a contradiction in between whatever the things you are going to argue. Number one. Number two, for a journal reader, that can be considered as one of the confusion for them. Because of that, they say if you're going to use two or more than two theories, then there will be problem of theoretical parsimony. What I will search, madam, if there is anything available, I will communicate with you, Dr. Prof Pavithra. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Nalin.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point. This use of several theories can actually lead to all these issues. So the importance of looking into these aspects and to ensure that the theory selected is in line with your philosophical underpinning and all of that is something that the researchers will have to carefully think of. Any other questions? Anything?
Yeah, I'm Nalak here.
Yes, Nalin.
Since you mentioned that the social exchange theory can use in romance, it could be a positivistic analysis or anti-positivistic.
Yeah, unfortunately, that particular article, I will just share that article. Is that okay for me to share the article, Professor Roshan?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, I'll share the article. This is a good indication. So yeah, they discuss about this with a kind of a conceptual paper. Then again, we can't say it's a kind of a thing coming aligned with the positivist or anti-positivist paradigm. So they conceptualize that with the different argument, Nalaka, right? And also there is another article I will share with you, again aligned with this same discussion. Actually, this is one of the theses, right? So I share that also. One of the theses, examine social exchange measures as moderator. So it implies this is a quantitative, I guess, because they mention about this moderation and all. Yes, so moderator with the hybris and all. More or less it's coming with this quantitative, because if it is a case of a moderator and all, I think Nalaka.
Yeah.
What sort of a study you are involved in with Nalaka?
I'm doing a DBA.
DBA, any area, specific area?
Basically, employee engagement.
Employee engagement. You also seeking for certain theories.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Earlier I thought that this particular theory can use in that, and after Professor Kailasapathy's presentation on the same theory, I thought it is not suitable for that, because I'm going to do a kind of qualitative analysis.
Nalika, that's why I asked from Nalin also whether it's more of a positivistic. So it is like Professor Kailasapathy also mentioned that last time. So yeah.
The extension, maybe we want to the, because spirituality and all, engagement, spirituality, everything related.
Okay.
So even you also can come up, we are talking about this deductive and inductive method, no?
Yes.
In the particular note, you can take this as a challenge, maybe with your supervisory talk, and maybe you can have a kind of a different version altogether.
All right.
So now, unfortunately, in our education system, we always frame with these certain things now.
Yeah. That's
Maslow's
why I asked
hierarchy, only 5 variables, 1943, Abraham Maslow discussed about hierarchy of needs. But if we can just think of in a different way now, Sigiriya, you go and water quality system in Sigiriya, even could not understand by the engineers coming from US. It's a different version altogether. No, even
Mm.
Nalaka Gunawardhana after 3 years' time, maybe you can come up with a different version, right? So
Yeah,
that should be the
understand.
way. That should be the way, Nalaka.
Yeah, that's why I asked, how can you link this romance with social
So
exchange theory, since
in
it's
your
a kind of a,
scenario,
yeah.
social exchange, right? But beyond to that, Nalaka, I really like the way you ask that question, because now you are living with this subject. So you consider this as a sacred, then maybe you can come up with a different version altogether. So
Thank
even
you.
2025, we can proudly say Nalaka participated for this session in 25th of November around 10:03. He asked a question. So then we also can be a partner of your progress, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for raising that question now.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else who want to clarify anything? Then it seems like your presentation was very clear, Nalin. That has
Okay, again, I think Arosha, I should thanks you, because there's a kind of a lull period now with the administration and all. This actually even motivate me to have a kind of a different paradigm shift in the work to certain kind of a work with the publications. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for accepting my invitation and for doing this session. And so we hope to continue this series with another theory next time. And if there are any theories you're particularly interested in, the audience, please let me know. So I will see if I can arrange a speaker to talk about that particular theory. And if you know of anybody, a resource person who can talk about a particular theory in depth, again, let me know. So with that note, I will end the session for today. So once again, thank you very much, Prof Nalin, for gracing this occasion today, and hope to continue the relationship you have with University of Colombo and with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Arosha. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, madam.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Okay,
Pavithra.
thanks.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
bye.
Okay, bye.